Hello, welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of Games to Audiobook 2. Now, I'm not going to make a big introduction here. The title is pretty self-explanatory, and I'm going to link part 1 in the description anyway. So let's just get cracking, shall we? So, video game 1, as you can already see, is going to be Powerwash Simulator now. I imagine there's going to be 2 different types of people seeing this game. Either you're going to be thinking, oh, what the flip, why would you spend any money on this? Or you'll be the type that goes, oh yeah, what a good idea. I mean, let's face it, this game is essentially 3D colouring in. You get all your gadgets, your wee outfit, your power hose, variety of nozzles, fluids, whatever, and you get to work. You earn money from doing power washing jobs, and then you buy more power washing equipment to do more power washing jobs. And I swear to you, if you're on the fence, well, first, see if the fence needs a hosing down, but then honestly, give it a go. Audiobooks aside, it is dead cathartic. Me and my son play it all the time, and there's a bunch of DLC. So you can power wash a train, you can power wash an excavator, you can power wash some stuff from Final Fantasy VII, you can power wash SpongeBob's house. It's just fabulous. And I know how insane it sounds, but it's honestly just great. It's great for audiobooks too, in a way that probably doesn't even merit an explanation. In all honesty, I'm struggling to say much more here because it's exactly what you see. It's mellow, you don't have to panic roll, you don't have to worry about a massive expository story dump. You just wash and chill with a story and enjoy. I finished off the last volume of The Wandering Inn while making Escape Park Gleam. And yeah, in a world of dark, kind of brutal, violent games, some of which are coming up, don't worry, this is family friendly, completely 100% to the ends of the earth, recommended. But speaking of violent and brutal games, next we have the Dynasty Warriors series. Now, I reckon a lot of people have heard of these. They're beloved by some, panned by others, which, to be honest, makes sense, because they are exactly what they want to be. And what they want to be is you reenacting old Chinese wars with a bunch of madcap weapons, tearing through hordes of enemies that have the collective intelligence of a stunted gerbil. And I'm totally aware I might have a bit of bias here too. One thing I was reading in the comments from my previous video is that a lot of people tend to audiobook or podcast to the games that made them happy as a child, the games they have a lot of nostalgia for. And absolutely, that is the case here. I have so many memories of my elder brother and I waking up on Christmas holiday mornings to play Dynasty Warriors 3. What you're seeing in front of you is Dynasty Warriors 8. So there's definitely a bit of rose-tinted affection from me here. But, it's not just that. There's something really, mindlessly enjoyable, but still enjoyable, charging around a big map on your horse, taking down the hordes of enemies, you upgrade your gear, experiment with weapons, and you watch that KO counter in the corner rise as you play on. There's actually, maybe, now that I'm thinking about it, a bit of a bizarre comparison to be made with Powerwash Simulator here, because you essentially kind of are mopping up the battlefield in the same way you are mopping up, the levels in Powerwash Simulator. And I'd say that for similar reasons, it's great with an audiobook too. There are a couple of story kind of excerpts that happen at the start of each level, but most of the time the in-game dialogue amounts to something like, hey, go over there and kill that general, leaving you with a bunch of opportunity to chew through a story of your choice while taking on thousands and thousands and thousands of enemies. It is seriously recommended. It's definitely a bit of a hokey series, but it's one that fits your purposes well here. Next up, you might have heard of a wee underground niche series called Assassin's Creed. If you haven't, let me pitch it to you. Assassin, big map, climb things, stab stab. Okay, now listen, AC is all over the place these days. Shadow just came out and seems to be doing better than expected, which is a positive for gaming all round. Here, I'm not choosing one game from the series as an audiobook choice, but I'm also not recommending the whole series either. I think the games that work for audiobooking within the Assassin's Creed franchise are the ones that are more open world. All the ones where you leave the confines of a city and there's a bit more of an exploratory aspect to them. The ones that are a little bit more narrative driven, where you're given a more detailed but smaller map to explore, wouldn't work as well here. So, for example, yes to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is what's in front of you, as well as Rogue, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, and so forth. But no, for the current purposes, to the Ezio trilogy, for example, or Unity, Syndicate, and so forth. And that's because we're kind of going the opposite way from popular discourse here. A lot of people argue that the AC games took a bit of a dip as they got larger, and started to focus on Ubisoft's love of collectibles. Visit this area, climb the tall thing, loot the chest, find the outfit, but these kinds of things work very well for audiobook intentions. Now, I would absolutely argue this is not just something to do with your hands while playing the game. I know a lot of people are going to say I'm recommending doing something kind of dull here. No. I think what a lot of people get wrong about the AC games is how good they are as little pieces of almost like digital tourism. The places they recreate feel very evocative of the real-world settings they try to emulate. Egypt, ancient Greece, whatever. And at least for me, it feels like such a treat just to run around and explore the recreation of those settings. We're now getting into a little bit of a tangent, but I'm a big traveller in my personal life. And for me, the AC games, as well as, kind of bizarrely, the Fallout games, scratch the real-world travel bug more than anything else. It's just a delight for me to kind of walk around these areas, see the pyramids, see these ancient Greek islands, and just soak up that atmosphere. So, in a world where everyone tells you Assassin's Creed gets worse as they get bigger, for me, listen, as much as I love Ezio, it's the opposite. Go for a walk in these games with a book of your choice, and you will have a delightful time. Okay, and moving on to game number 4, we have Remnant from the Ashes. Before you ask, I haven't played Remnant 2, simply because it runs absolutely abominably on the Steam Deck, which is the main way I play games. I also feel like I'm maybe cheating a little bit here, because I did recommend From Software games in general, and FromSoft type games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring as a broader category last time. But I do feel like within that subgenre, a lot of games are worth mentioning in their own right. This is absolutely the case with Remnant. People call it the Dark Souls with guns, and in some ways that is an accurate assessment. You move through the levels, you get killed a lot, you upgrade, you find checkpoints, there's a hub area that feels like a safe haven, all of the stuff that's kind of a staple to fans of the subgenre. Where Remnant differs though, is kind of two different things. Well, first, the setting is extremely different. It's got a modern day apocalyptic aesthetic, which sets it apart. It's also got a bit more of a randomization element to it. You won't always go the same way twice, or have the same encounters twice, or hit the same boss twice. This is also actually what I'm playing right now. I'm a lot further on than when I recorded this footage, but yep, I can definitely testify this is one to audiobook to. I'm having a good time kind of kicking back to some old Darren Shan novels. I don't know if that's a throwback or not, but I loved them as a kid. I've also cranked the difficulty up to the highest setting, and the audiobook sort of stopped me from getting too frustrated when I'm losing at various points. And just very quickly, one more observation about Remnant regarding the atmosphere. Now that I'm starting this series, I'm always aware that I'm kind of asking you to sacrifice sound and sound design to listen to something else, by necessity. And there's a couple of games that I've wanted to recommend and haven't, so like Hollow Knight. For that reason, I feel like if you take the audio out of that game, you're sacrificing too much. So, listen, the audio is good here. I'm not saying it isn't, but with Remnant, it feels like they did such a good job with the visual design and the gameplay. They signal to you what's going on very clearly. The aesthetic is all there in the visuals, that you do retain that sense of atmosphere, even by minimizing the audio. So yeah, Remnant 2, if you have the hardware, it's a great one, it's a good time. And for our last game, this is kind of an old one, but also kind of a new one, because we have Dead Rising. This game originally came out in 2005, 2006, but it has been shambling along since. I believe they actually remade it at the start of this year. Anyway, what you're seeing is the first game from the mid-2000s, because I'm ancient. Now, this is a go-to for me. The only reason I didn't include it on my first list is that it wasn't downloaded on my deck at the time. I shudder to think how many hours I've actually spent on this game in total. Here's the premise. The zombie apocalypse happens, right? And you, or rather the main character Frank, is stuck in a shopping mall. You've got to use everything at your disposal to fend off the zombies and the crazies that accompany them. You've got guitars, you've got plywood, you've got water guns. It's brilliantly fun, it's brilliantly inventive. There is a story, it's true, but it's also true that the game basically encourages you to avoid that story for the first playthrough or two until you level up enough. And that's the other thing about Dead Rising. The game is pretty difficult at the beginning, but over time as you get stronger, your inventory grows, you're able to do a lot more. You're able to take more risks. When you finish, you go straight back to the beginning of the game with all your XP and items, I believe, in hand. So yeah, here's me skateboarding through the opening area. I was actually, again, listening to Darren Shan while recording this. It was a great time. But yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know if you play any of these games, have played them, do play them regularly, if you're an audiobook person, and if so, how do you do it? Do you game while audiobooking, or are there other strategies that you use? The next video I'm going to do in this series will be parallel, or kind of the opposite. I'm going to do good books to game to. Let me know your thoughts. Please consider subscribing. And until next time, I will see you. Bye.